So how did Liverpool win the Merseyside derby against their most fierce rivals without even playing that well? And an even more important question, why did they struggle so much in the second half against the side they were heavily dominating in the beginning? Welcome to Merseyside. I've analyzed the match for you, so let me walk you through the main points. There was one key tactical tweak from Arne Slot that, in my opinion, defined the whole match. And before saying anything, I'll just let you see this and just try to guess what I'm talking about. Ready? Okay. Slot already knows what the mood of these derbies are after last year, and he focused on one thing: control. So apparently what he had to do is drop a very important player and risk losing some sharpness in attack, but guarantee that the midfield is going to be solid. So as you probably already guessed, it was Wirtz who lost his starting place, all because of his defensive actions and the fact that there are players in the Reds dressing room who are just more reliable options. On the top you have the defensive stats of McAllister for this season, and on the bottom you can pause it and compare them with the absolute same stats of Wirtz. This way Szoboszlai was pushed up the pitch to play in the cam position and be exploited for his work rate, because generally this guy runs like a madman. He had a similar role to Wirtz in attack, standing next to the striker as the fourth man in the forward line, while Maka and Gravenberch functioned as typical pivots in giving this extra sense of security at the back. There was, however, an interesting rotation that we never see when Wirtz is on the pitch. Maka and Szoboszlai often switched places, leaving the Hungarians somewhere around the zone where Conor Bradley should be. Bradley's role though means he joins the right flank alongside Mo Salah and leaves an area that should be covered, and it is covered by either McAllister or Dominic Szoboszlai depending on the situation. And here it gets crazy, because if you thought, well, that's an interesting tactic that keeps defense on its toes because of the constant movement of players back and forth, you're partially right, but there is more to it. Here you can see the usual structure of Gravenberch receiving in the center of the pitch. Szoboszlai and Maka are in front, and usually what Ryan will do is find a way to continue the play, either win some space by running forward with the ball or hold the ball a little in the center to drag up position players, and then when space is opened on the flanks, try to put a teammate there in a favorable situation. What this absolutely underrated gem of a player does, it gave it to Szoboszlai and runs straight into the penalty area where he basically scores the opening goal of the match. Now let me explain why this run was so deadly. I mean, it is not something that Wirtz cannot physically do. In fact, he may even do it better at times. Everton defends in a 4-3 structure. The moment Dominic receives the ball, Bradley starts to underlap Salah on the right, something we see literally 15 times a match, drags the center back. Salah already has 3 people focused on him, and that leaves a back door open for Ryan to slide through and receive a pass which disables 4 people in blue shirts in a matter of a second. And the reason I think that this run is not going to be possible for Wirtz is because he will already have at least 1, if not 2 players on top of him. Gay here even points at Gravenberch to his teammates, but in the same time makes zero effort whatsoever to even catch up with him. For the second goal, it was once again the ability of this midfield trio to pass the ball quickly, to find the open spaces and exploit them, and the fact that they played for 2 full seasons together helps them immensely. Everton were not scared to get more players to press, although they pressed passively, and here you see that Ryan has 1 man next to him. Guy is actively pressing the ball, gambles a bit and goes to Szoboszlai, who sees it, plays it to Maka instantly. And you can instantly support me if you like what I'm doing by liking and subscribing. It will be greatly appreciated by me. Overall, the battle in the midfield was fierce. Everton was trying to put a player on each one of the Liverpool's midfields, not giving them time to think and act, thus leading to mistakes, and it happened. Best example of how flooded the midfield became at one point is here when Everton has 4 men between the ball and Dominic. Another one is pressing the ball, and another one is cautious for a possible sprint of Bradley behind him. It pretty much can do nothing. If Gravenberch wants to receive, he has to drop deep. Same goes for Alexis. But we gotta see why things changed in the second half. And as I did earlier, let me sum it up in one word: pressing. Everton's press just started working, they pressed more aggressively, and the Reds did not have an answer to that for a big chunk of the second part. The Toffees wanted to make Liverpool go long more often, as they have some incredible height and strength in the back lines. There was constantly someone marking Liverpool's pivots, and the Blues kind of got what they wanted. And of course, that was mixed with the fact that the Liverpool team was incredibly sloppy, but some of this sloppiness came from the fact that their opposition started putting pressure on them. This goes for the defense also, because although he had an overall good game, Kirkes absolutely lost sight of his man on the cross prior to the Everton's goal. That leaves him on the ground, while Gakpo is also not really rushing to cover Gay, who is completely alone in a 5-meter radius. There was no time for Liverpool to breathe, and 5 men in the final third is ridiculous, and of course not sustainable for long periods, but clearly worked. Liverpool is cornered, and Van Dijk, although he's such an experienced player, here makes a mistake that could have cost more than it actually did. He knows that there are 2 possible plays. You either get the ball back to Alisson to kick the living hell out of it, or you do it yourself. In no way do you ever pass that to the player here who actually happens to be your most inexperienced player on the field. Kirkes is instantly trying to play that ball because two main guys are running his way, they just got one goal back and your own stadium is an unfriendly place to be for a couple of minutes, and he makes a dangerous mistake. But Slot's changes kind of got the job done, calmed the situation a bit and helped Liverpool get back control of the rest of the game. And here comes Slot's biggest weapon this season and potentially during his era at the club, which at this rate may be a long one. Slot has proved that he can change the games with substitutions and tactical tweaks. We saw it last year. This team has the ability to play under pressure, be composed and search for results till the last minute. But now the Dutch manager can turn to his bench and not see even top players, but game-changing world-class players. And by bringing in Wirtz in the last half an hour for Cody Gakpo, you technically change the way this team attacks on the left. Or should I say, doesn't attack on the left. Practically Liverpool played with 4 midfielders in the last 30 minutes because Curtis Jones was brought in for Maka to improve the possession and the way the Reds transitioned, and Szoboszlai continued providing an extra option to Salah to partner with him, considering Bradley was hanging back a little bit, so the Toffees won't be able to catch him on the break in case Liverpool do lose the ball so further up. As you can see from this clip though, Florian Wirtz is attacking the exact same zone that he does regularly when playing in the camp position, and there is absolutely no one at the left. And suddenly this may become a problem for Liverpool this season because the only other player that can be played there, except Gakpo, is the 17-year-old Rion Gomorrah, who you cannot expect to be a regular substitution at such a young age. 4 players are concentrated in this radius of 5 meters, which makes them easy to target by the defense when they're literally best when using free spaces. Wirtz, Salah, Isak, Szoboszlai, they're all players which thrive under circumstances who give them the opportunity to exploit spaces. That's why they look so dangerous in counterattacks, but are heavily limited in choices when it comes to getting through a low block, destroy the tight lines, and that was visible during the Burnley game. On the other hand, versus Atletico, the Spanish team needed to get back into the game and had to try and attack more, which left huge spaces that Liverpool just failed to really use. And despite winning that game, they were quite wasteful. So those are the things which stuck with me after the derby. Of course, take it with the utmost idea that I'm not a professional, I'm doing it purely for fun, and there are a lot of things I probably have missed that you have seen, for example. If that's the case, I'll be more than happy to discuss them in the comment section. If you enjoyed the analysis, please share below what do you want to see a video like that about next, and I wish you all the best until then.